So, in case this idea turns into something, just want to document this, how this happened, how this started. Just got out of my car after coming from Ishan's place, after coming back from the Shane Gillis show. The date is September 7th, 2024. So it was here at the Infinite Energy Arena, or the whatever it's called now, Gas South. You know, it used to be called Gwinnett Civic Center. They changed the name so many times, but either way, the idea is essentially we're in the car and we're talking about this long time idea that Ishan particularly has had, which is like a mental health app. And it sounds vague, but essentially the idea has been vague because as time has gone by, different needs have been presented, you know? So it's very clear the problem is there. And it's an issue that we don't feel like we are expertly qualified to deal with, but we feel like we want to do something about it. We have the passion to, and you know, you may not believe me, right? But I see that he actually cares about the issue, and he probably sees that I care about the issue too. Either way, I can tell you straight up, he cares about the issue. Okay, you don't need to worry about me. It was originally his idea, and his thing, like, he came at it with the intention of like actually doing something to like genuinely make a difference. And we thought about all these ideas about like ways people could get more like positive news into their life rather than always getting negative news that just spreads like it's viral because it's negative, you know. Now like they can get positive news and we can shift the algorithm to incentivize the kinds of things that actually make people feel better, you know. It would be tricky to do, but like we had a bunch of ideas about like different kinds of scientific, philosophical, psychological education, and in the way that it could be presented to them, and removing the bias from these ideas, and removing the pathology and the like essentially doing what BetterHelp people think BetterHelp does, like actually providing value to people like that, you know. Like BetterHelp does one tiny thing, which is a suboptimal solution to a very, very serious, massive issue. So we were talking about it, and I'm like, there's a lot of room to like, you know, this is an old idea. The reason why we were even talking about it is because he was sparking up, like he was like smoking a blunt, and he was like, you know, just reminiscing. Oh, remember way back when you were working on like we were at this like church, some Powder Springs thing, and I was under like the pavilion area. I was outside, just literally just like sparking a blunt out there, and you were like doing the measurements, like the AutoCAD, you know, taking the laser and measuring the building to log in the computer, doing it as built. That's what it's called. And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, and he was like, man, I don't remember what we were talking about. I don't even remember like what we were talking about that day. And I'm like, we were talking about your mental health app. Like that was the first time you. I might even have the notes actually. Let me look it up. Mental health. Ishan. I have it. Mental health app :ideas. And then app name, vision, full website, tabs, version history. Wow, so August 8th, 2020. That is the first. Oh man, I can't show you the screen because I don't have it on. I'll just take a picture real quick just to. Okay. Look. Let me adjust the exposure. That's brighter. So that's what I just got a picture of just now. You can see it in focus. So this is when at least he started working on it. And I believe he didn't tell me about it until it was 2020 or 2020. No, it was still very early on. So 2020 ish is when we started talking about it. Guided meditation, notepad for journal, blog chat area with verified. I don't want to give all the ideas, change classification from hysteria to gaining more knowledge and recognition. There's more tabs, information tab, we provide unbiased facts. Free accounts. Join the mental health discussion. Add links to like government resources. Marketing, we can get people with large followings like Janae Aiko and SZA like to market us. There's actually lots of this. No, wait, there's actually a lot. And it's like really like well put together, like in terms of like bolded fonts and different size fonts and things like that. I never do that for my notes. But yeah. We were talking about this app. It was on the way to his house. And I was like, there's a lot of opportunity. Like BetterHelp, what they're doing right now is one small thing. There's not just opportunity to create one mental health app. You can create 1,000 and they can all be successful because there's so much demand right now. And he's like what? Like what? And I'm like, I can't think of any off the spot right now. I'm not tapped into the ether of creativity like I used to be. So it's hard to on command think of something. But he was like what? And I'm like, in general, just generally speaking, in terms of like my vision for the things I want to do, for the kind of team I want to develop, there's a lot of people out here. At least I'd like to believe that. There's a lot of people out here. I like to believe that deep down, even though people may not see much opportunity in it, so they don't really talk about it, there's a lot of people out here that go like, it kind of sucks how technology has only been used to make people's lives worse and leech off of people. And like some people may not understand the concept of like, for example, why is a lottery bad? Like, why is gambling on a slot machine bad? Like, one person may feel very successful about it, but in the long term, it makes everyone's lives more miserable. So, yeah, in the process of being social media famous, yeah, you might benefit, but everybody else who's not social media famous is suffering because of the social interaction that is being created because of you being famous. So, and there can only be a certain number of you, a small number of you, like by definition. So, people may not understand the concept, like normies and NPCs and people that are not critical about like this kind of stuff may not understand. But over the past 20 or so years, maybe not 20, aside from a few exceptions, like for example, YouTube, excellent piece of technology, but like all the torrenting apps were created before that. P2P technology was created before that. Like in the past 20 years, oh no, cryptocurrency. Okay, but other than that, in the past 20 years, there's been essentially zero new technology that has been for the benefit of people. It's always been, oh, please use this. Like, if I get you addicted to a drug, is that to the benefit of you? No, it's to the benefit of me because I'll be selling you a drug, but it makes you feel good. Just because you're buying it doesn't mean it actually benefits you, you know? So all this technology has been made to do this, and I'm like, there's, it's a concept that Ishan is aware enough and conscious enough to actually see and understand. And I'm like, I don't need to explain that issue to him. So I just straight up said that. I'm like, there's gotta be endless people nowadays, especially who are just like sick of the current situation and actually want to use technology to like do what it promised to do and actually do like the a good thing for the world for like the first time in like 20 years. Like finally do something good, you know? Even if it's a small thing. And so I may not be able to think of an idea off the top, but there's there's bound to be lots of help out there who could put their minds together and come up with something creative, you know? So I said that and he's like pushing, he's like, but like what could it be? What kind of way? What would they do? And I'm like, okay, let me think of something, let me think of something. So I just start talking, and in the process of talking, I just list out and I lay out an idea, and I'm like, this comes from the idea of quitting porn addiction and post-nut clarity, which my mind was jogged with that because we just watched Shane Gillis. And we were making jokes about that in the car. Like Ishan was like, oh yeah, can't wait to go home and jerk it. I know you are or whatever. And he's like, I'm not. You don't know nothing about that semen retention and things like that. We're just making jokes, you know, after a comedy show where he jokes about similar kinds of things. Man, Shane Gillis was funny. But so were the other two guys. Not as funny though, but still good. But I'm distracted by the show. But I'm like, okay, maybe something simple, right? Because the bar is so low with the way people have abused technology for the destruction of humanity as a whole, straight up. Like it's not even an exaggeration to say that. But something as simple as like, say you're a degenerate gambler and you want to go onto the app and you're in that state of like mindlessness of like forget doing the things that I know will be good for me. I'm in this zone. I'm in this moment. I want to do it. And when you go on the app, when you go on Stake, when you go on Roobet, when you go on DraftKings, when you go on whatever gambling app, right? I'm talking to him because he literally admitted in the car earlier because we were stuck in the car for so long because there was so much traffic and we were on top of the parking deck. He literally said, he's like, bro, straight up, I'm a degenerate gambler. Like, I know that I am, you know? And we're lucky to even, both me and him are extremely lucky to even be in a position where we can do something like be a degenerate gambler and actually still like sustain ourselves, you know? So he straight up said that, and he's like, he's aware of it, and him knowing that means it's like, okay, it's the kind of thing he can work towards when he's ready to do that. If it becomes an issue, you know? And, or if it becomes, you know, it's, it gets complicated, but either way, I'm like, you go on the app and you get a notification. It's like, a reminder, like, instead of doing this, do this instead. Say this meditation, say this mantra, say, like, and I was thinking about it earlier today. I'm like, I have all my apps organized in folders, and I go onto this app, Instagram. I go on there and I stay on there, and I don't mean to stay on there. I go on there just to check my DMs for business, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check my DMs. I'm not gonna do anything else. And without even thinking about it, I've spent 30 minutes on the app, and I'm like, why? How did that happen? Like, how do they do this? You know, it'd be nice if I could just control how the app works, But Apple's not going to let me do that because Apple is also evil and they want me to spend as much time as possible addicted to using their devices. So they're not going to help me out. And I don't want to go through the effort of downloading F-Droid and rooting and all this bullshit just to like make things work. It's like someone just make a good Linux distro I can use on mobile and then make it simple for me to download and then have Cydia on it. Simple, have Homebrew on it. But it's a separate thing. I was thinking like in place of Instagram, what if like I could set like a timer throughout this time of day? If I click on the Instagram app, I should be sent to a different app, like a meditation app or something like that, and just be like, do this instead. And it'll be a nice reminder, like right in my face, using technology to actually assist me because it won't work at first. It won't work, and I'll go like, screw this. I'm going to Instagram. And then the next time I do it, when that happens, and after 30 minutes passes, and I'll feel terrible, and I'll be like, damn, why am I wasting the day like this? I thought this was going to be a productive day. But I guess I'll just try again tomorrow. I guess I'll just waste the rest of the day, and I feel bad about it. Or like post-nut clarity, or like you just lost $5,000 gambling online. Those moments where you're low and you have that clarity of mind and you're ready to like speak to your consciousness and you're in that zone where you're not in animal mode anymore, and you can actually, if you're presented with an opportunity to make that same mistake again, you will not make that mistake again. And so you can write a note to yourself, and that note can pop up on your notification, or maybe you can create a voice memo. This is the one I like, where you create a voice memo and you're like, hey, you just gambled again, bro. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. Look at your life situation, and you say the voice memo to yourself in that moment. You go, hey, future self, future Afraz, future whoever, future person, myself, customer, user. Like, and it's a personable thing. And you say the things that you would want to hear and that you would want yourself to follow, And then you go on the app, you get a notification. Or you go on Pornhub.com, the notification pops up. And then it pops up again and again and again for as long as you're on Pornhub.com. And it's like, it's the kind of thing that you could only really set while you're in post-nut clarity. But you would set it. And I know people would do it. And it would probably not be that many people, to be honest. But we thought about it and we're like, bro, it would be crazy if like, let's say we do it and it would start eating into the profits of like gambling and like Vegas, and it wouldn't, like we're conscious enough and aware enough to know that it actually wouldn't, but just the knowledge that something like this would exist, like a 1-800 gambling type thing, like Vegas would want to own it. They would be willing to pay an exorbitant amount just to have it in their hands, even at the idea that the scare of like, oh wait, what if, like, it's kind of a creative idea. What if they have the capability to actually make it eat into our profits? What if that is their intention? And that's not my intention at all. Gambling is everyone's personal game. Gambling itself, I don't see as a wrong thing. I mean, if you make every joke is technically a gamble. You make a joke, you might lose a lot. You're running the risk of people not laughing at your joke. That's not just neutral. That hurts. That's painful. Like, you risk feeling pain. So, and what are you going to live in a world without jokes? So gambling can be seen as good. And it's tragic that people are not taught from a young age by their parents, here's how to productively gamble. Here's how to gamble in a healthy way. Here's how to gamble and not let it control you. Here's how to gamble in ways that can actually benefit you. Here's how to gamble in games that can not only be fun, but also be considered work, and also help the people around you to also uplift them as well. Uplift your family and uplift society. And People are not taught these things. There's so much waste, so much abundance that these games are not necessary for most people, and most people don't have the, like, most people are just NPCs, and when they feel that urge to gamble, they're just going to go with whatever outlet is easiest for them and whatever offers the path of least resistance, rather than going out and searching for something more meaningful. But gambling as a concept is something that humanity cannot live without. So, contrary to the way I might speak about it, because that's just my attitude towards casino, slot machine, like game machine, like that kind of thing, gambling as a concept, I have nothing against it. And everyone has their own games. You know, everyone is at their own stage in life, their own character arc in life. So I'm not one to go like, oh yeah, stop going to the casino. I want to go to the casino. I want to have some fun, you know? But I'm going to do it responsibly, and everyone will have their own definition of responsibly. But aside from all that, we know it wouldn't eat into their profits, but that alone, that scare alone, would be enough for them to, with their infinite budget, to go like, you know what, let's just buy this company. You know, let's just have it in our hands, just to be safe. You know, people that are going to gamble are going to gamble. It wouldn't. It wouldn't stop people. The real thing that we thought about after that was like, we need to integrate it in Apple somehow. Like, the app becomes popular, we get a meeting with Apple, and we tell them like, hey, integrate it into your operating system with something like screen time, you know, but make it more convenient. Let us help you, actually, because we're not your engineers. We are your users. So let us be the directors for your UI UX team, you know? Let us play test it, you know? And instead of making it like, make it something like screen time, or make it even more convenient than screen time, or make it something where it's like things that the operating system doesn't allow you to do. And he thought about, like, he came up with this. He's like, you make a voice memo when you're in that low moment, and then you go on the Stake, the gambling app, or you go on to Pornhub or whatever, and immediately, just by going on the website, the audio clip plays right away, just like that, with the notification. It doesn't even, you don't even have to click on it. It just immediately starts playing right there. Your voice from a you that was down, and it's pleading for your future self to like look out for your own self's best interest, and to not do this to yourself again, to not punish yourself again, you know? Like, that could be very beneficial. That could work. You know, that could help a lot of people. And I do believe that there are people within Apple still. Again, like, you're not going to hear this kind of thing from me very often, because I'm just the type to be critical, far more than I am to be like to praise people. But on a serious note, like on a grander scale, I believe at least 25% of the people at Apple genuinely have the best interest of other people at heart, and they want to create great things. And they can assist, and they can give it their all, and they can push, and they can go, hey, we should integrate this kind of thing, where I told Ishan, I'm like, that's the right approach to have. The right approach to have is anything is possible, because I was only thinking within the constraints of what the technology allows us to do, or not the technology, but what Apple allows us to do. Apple doesn't allow their users to do shit, or their developers to do shit. They treat us like we're like babies, you know? But if you can get a meeting with Apple, I mean, sky's the limit. Anything is possible, you know? They have teams that can literally make anything happen. Any combination of pixels, any sound, anything you could imagine. Your imagination is the limit to what you can make happen with that technology. So we just have to make the app popular enough, or make it like stand out enough and be beneficial enough among professionals in the industry, or people that have connections, that have ties in Apple, so that we can get a meeting with them. You know, I'm developing an app for iOS right now. I mean, even after all this, getting a meeting with Apple seems like impossible, but you know, it's a way to go. And then we're like, okay, so sell it to Vegas, sell it to Apple, maybe give it to Apple for free, maybe give it to the like mental health companies, partner with some bigger company, have them develop it, give it to them for free, so we can just use it as like seva, as like an act of service, and then we have that under our belt, and we can go like, hey, this feature that's integrated in all these phone operating systems now, yeah, we're the creators of it. That would open so many doors for us, and it would allow us to continue to do things like this, because we truly do, like, if we got rich, we truly would do everything we can to contribute to like genuinely creating a better world where more people just laughed and had more empathy for each other, and try to elevate the consciousness of people, even if it means like them viewing us a certain type of way. We care more about the opinions of ourselves as real, authentic individuals, and just having each other and having other people around us that are also real is more than enough for us to do right by the world and not be perceived in the best light, and push them to think more like at a higher consciousness, and maybe like they go like, man, why are you thinking like this, that's crazy, and things like that. Like, we have each other, we can handle it, we can take it, we don't mind, you know. And it's crazy that all this happened because we got stuck at the top of the parking garage for like an hour or something. Literally for like an hour, we just got stuck there, and he's like, might as well just like roll up a joint or whatever. I think he was I don't know, whatever. I wasn't even looking, but we're like, might as well, because we're just stuck up here for so long. We only ended up there because we got tickets last minute, secondhand, to the Shane Gillis show, and we only got them because we went to Leo Didi's house, and Zahab told his mom, hey, I want to go to the Shane Gillis show. And then Leo Didi told me like, hey, you guys want to come to the show with us? And that only happened because Zahab was so naive that he thought it was going to be like a PG-13 show, when really it was like a rated R, like rated X, rated, like, it's the kind of thing where like I'm surprised they let a 16-year-old into that show. I think he's 16, I think. But yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't an age restriction for it. I know he's not 18, so that's surprising that they let him in. It was obscene. It's like I've never heard jokes that obscene in my life. And I was literally about to not go. I was telling them. I told them like 5 times. I'm like, wow, I can't tonight. Yeah, crazy how like every time we come up with an idea where we're like, oh, that's a crazy, oh, that's such an interesting thought. We got to think about this more. Every time we have a thought like that, it's always like the most random circumstances that like could have never happened if like one thing was changed, you know? If anything in that whole situation was changed, then it would not have been like, if I did not agree to do as-builts for free, then we may not have ever even talked about that idea on that day. We may not have revisited that idea as a joke in this moment, and we may not have ever thought about this, you know? But yeah, if we end up making this idea, BetterHelp, Calm, Mood Path, Youper, Let Go, Rooted. I didn't even know that there were Let Go Dash app that focuses on 12-step recovery model, LETGOA, like up exclamation mark. I didn't even know there were this many competitors. So he did research into all this. No app is similar to what we're doing. Some have similar aspects, but none provide the safe space and all this stuff. Will mental health apps be the end of therapy? It seems like there's this copy and paste from some article because it has a different line spacing. So probably copied and pasted it, this paragraph after this. Yeah, this guy put a semicolon. No one sane like me and Ishan have never used a semicolon to in any of our notes ever. So yeah, this was a copy paste from some article. But yeah, there's lots of ideas to be had. I'm just making this. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because I was thinking about it and I'm like, if this idea becomes successful, right? If we actually end up doing it, I'm probably gonna forget how it transpired. So I just thought I'd make this just to remember, just to remind myself in the future, like it was a complete accident, complete coincidence. Like the stars aligned for us to come up with this idea. So yeah.